Hello everyone. Today we have our 15th pedagogy session, and today's resource person for this 15th pedagogy session from Agat Tantra department, Dr. Manu Prasad KS sir. He has completed his BMS from ALN Rao Ayurved Medical College, Karnataka, and his MD Agat Tantra from SDM Ayurved Medical College, Udupi, Karnataka. Currently, he is working as associate professor and head of the department in the Agat Tantra with Parul Institute of Ayurveda, Parul University, Vadodara, Gujarat. He has published more than 10 articles in various international journals. Dr. Manu Prasad KS also awarded with Agatacharya Puraskar by Gujarat Board of Ayurveda and Unani System of Medicine in the year of 2021 for his outstanding performance. So, I am requesting Dr. Manu Prasad, please start your session with your topic.
Thank
Stage,
you, Sandeep sir, for
yeah,
very nice introduction. I would like to start my presentation by sharing my slide. Sir, is it visible?
yeah, sir, it is.
Okay, I'll start myself. So, welcome everyone. I'm going to present the topic called environmental toxins associated with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD). A review. Myself, Dr. Manu Prasad PS, Associate Professor and HOD from the Department of Agutandra, Parul Institute of Ayurveda, Parul University. So I'll start with my contents first. So these are the contents of my presentations: introduction to OPD, COPD, etiology and pathology of COPD, environmental toxins versus COPD, the effects of environmental toxins on human body, risk factors of COPD, prevention, remedies, and conclusion. So these are the few contents of my PPT presentation. Now, next I'll go to the introduction. Uh, the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD) is the third leading cause of the death worldwide, causing around 3.23 million deaths in 2019. So, when you're looking into the statistics of COPD, nearly 90% of the COPD deaths in those under 70 years of age occur in low and middle income countries (LMIC). So the early diagnosis and treatment, including the smoking cessations, that is the primary cause for the COPD, which may needed to slow the progression and symptoms and reduce the flare-ups. So this is just introduction about the COPD. And coming to few facts about the COPD, as we all know, the cigarette smoking is the main primary cause for the COPD. Once you're looking into the research articles or recent data in the United States, around 47.2 million people, out of that 28% of men and 23% of women are smokers. And World Health Organization estimates around 1.1 billion smokers are there in the worldwide, and it may they have an increasing at an alarming rate of 1.6 billion in the 2025. If like this going, if the smokers are going like this, then definitely it will be 1.6 million by 2025, as per the WHO, World Health Organization. Coming to the etiology, I'm going to discuss about few etiological factors which leads to the COPD. As we all know, the smoking is one of the main causes. Around 80 to 90% or 70 to 80% of the cause are related to the smoking, direct smoking, and also the environmental exposed to the stomach, tobacco smoke, that is uh, ETC, like ETC, environmental exposed to that indirectly if anyone gets the smoking or the contaminants, and indoor air pollution and occupational dust, fumes, or different types of chemicals, which also a part of risk factors for the COPD. And there is an article says that childhood exposure to the environmental tobacco smoke, it may lead to the respiratory symptoms, in especially in the non-smoking adults. In the study, you can see here by GL David, he has said that the childhood exposure to environmental tobacco smoke also will causes the respiratory symptoms or chronic respiratory symptoms, especially in the COPD. So coming to the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, when you look into in the PPT slide, you can see when you compare the normal and or healthy and COPD lungs alveoli, you can see the thick and smooth muscles you can see here, and narrowed the lumen in the COPD especially. Also, so what is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease? It is a disease state characterized by airflow limitation that only fully reversible. So that is not fully reversible. And especially whenever you say a COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, definitely it will be associated with two main symptoms, which is one is emphysema and another one chronic bronchitis. So COPD includes the chronic bronchitis and emphysema, and asthma is not included or considered in the COPD because it is the reversibility. Due to its reversibility, asthma can be reversible; it can be treated properly. But in certain conditions, COPD is equal to chronic bronchitis and emphysema. So, what is chronic bronchitis? Chronic bronchitis is inflammation of the lower respiratory tract characterized by the excessive mucus secretion and always associated with cough and dyspnea. It affects the small bronchiole especially. So what is emphysema? Emphysema is a complex lung disease characterized by the damage to the gas exchanging surface. So smaller holes will be prepared and the airs will be trapped. The person cannot able to exhale properly. So that is called emphysema. So while once you looking into the COPD, while comparing with the normal alveoli, you can see here all the things are affected, like especially the airway remodeling of fibrosis, the airway is suppressed, and smooth muscles contraction is also, and alveoli hyperinflammation, inflammation of the alveoli, and alveolar wall destruction, loss of elasticity. So these also you can see in the COPD, especially while comparing with the normal one. Coming to the etiology, pathology, pathobiology, and clinical manifestations, usually the etiology like smoking, direct smoking, and indirect smoking, and the humans are exposed to different types of chemicals, contaminants, or pollutants, and sometimes the host factors also are the main etiological factors for the COPD. When come to the pathobiology, because of all these reasons, our lungs or the respiratory system will get affected, especially lung injury and lung and system inflammation also will be seen, and impaired lung growth also will be seen. So it may lead to
Sir, you are not audible. Hello, sir. You are muted, sir. Due to some internet problem, he left here. We will wait for him.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. You are audible. Please share your PPTs. Manu Prasad sir has somewhat network related problem. He will be joined right now. Please have some patience. We will wait for him.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, it is visible.
Is it visible? Okay. Okay.
तो स्लाइड शो में कर देना सर उसको.
Hello.
Yeah, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yeah, sir. Very well. Yeah, from that table, pathophysiology table. So you muted yourself. Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Uh,
So मोबाइल को हॉरिजॉन्टल कराइए.
Now it's coming.
Very good. Very nice.
So you can see here the now it's changing, no, sir.
Yeah, sir. It is.
Okay. So you can see the mild, based on
Sir,
the.
from that
Fo-
etiological part,
okay, 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 okay,
that table,
okay,
pathobiology wala table.
okay, okay, okay. This one, no, sir.
Yeah, yeah. From this one, please.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you can see the etiology. The mainly the smoking is the main etiological factor which leads to the COPD, and the pathobiology you can see here. From the main smoking is the causative factor, and which leads to the pathobiology like the impaired lung growth, especially the lung injury and lung and systemic inflammation will be leads to that, and leads to the chronic bronchitis and especially the emphysema. The main manifestation which seen in the patient is airflow limitation, which leads to the clinical manifestation in the patient. So this is just an etiology, pathobiology, and pathology of this COPD. Coming to understand the severity of the COPD and its influence on the patient's lives, we can categorize the globe initiated. So they have in every countries they have categories. So the main standard protocol for that global initiate for chronic obstructive lung disease gold staging system. So while looking into the gold staging system, it is categorized into three, four. First one is one, gold two, gold three, and gold four. In the first stage, the patient will be having mild symptoms. Second were the moderate symptoms. Third, the patient will be having severe symptom, and fourth one is very severe. So this is calculated based on the force expiratory volume, that is FEV. So if it is below the FEV, if a patient can exhale more, then it is considered as the mild symptom or gold one. Second is moderate, gold 2, in between 50 percentage to 80 percentage. It is predicted that it is moderate, the patient will have moderate symptoms. And gold 3, the patient can't exhale properly, and if it is the FEE 1 is equal to 30%, between 30 percentage and 50 percentage, then the person's condition is severe. And another one is gold 4, that is very severe condition, and the person can't able to exhale because of the pathological condition, then it is very severe. So to understand properly, you can looking into the slide, mild, moderate, severe, and very severe conditions. So in the mild condition, COPD may have no symptoms, and while doing or walking into the upstairs, the airflow will be around is equal to 80 percentage of that is normal. And once comes to the moderate condition, it is between 50 to 79 percentage. So he will be having the moderate symptoms. And in severe condition, shortness of the breath worsens and frequent flare-ups of the conditions, and he may have to hospitalize. And in very severe condition, you have to go for the oxygen support and low oxygen saturation level. You can see. So this is the just standardization or categorization of the symptoms according to the condition of the patient. So how we can diagnose the condition? You can go for arterial blood gas test and walking lungs function test, etc. You can go for to diagnose the COPD. Just briefing about this diagnosis. Everyone knows about all these things. And the main point of my presentation is risk factors for the COPD, which all the risk factors which leads to the aggravation of the COPD. First one is the exposure to tobacco smoke. That is the 18 to 90 percentage of the COPD case. This is the main etiological factors. The direct smoking. Second one is passive smoking or second hand smoking. Third, occupational exposure, and the patient or the person who exposed to ambient air pollution, that is also one cause. And fifth one is genetic abnormalities, especially alpha 1 antitrypsin enzymes. So alpha 1 antitrypsin enzyme is the condition, the deficiency of this enzyme will leads to the suppression of the immunity. By that, the patient can get the COPD condition or any inflammatory conditions. So again, we will look into the risk factors, especially the cigarette smoking, occupational dust and chemicals, the environmental tobacco smoke, that is called ETS, environmental tobacco smoke, indoor and outdoor air pollutions. And these are the main risk factors, and also will have genetic variations, and if the patient is very immunosuppressant, and aging populations, all these socioeconomical status, these are the other risk factors which influence the COPD. Coming to the main etiological factor, that is called smoking. So, smoking versus to COPD. Cigarettes contain many hazardous substances that can damage lung when it is inhaled, especially the contaminants like nicotine, carbon monoxide, cyanide, and long-term exposed to the second-hand tobacco smoke or indirect smoking, which also a cause for the chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder or COPD. In certain in different conditions, cigarettes contain many hazardous substances that can damage the lungs when it is inhaled. So you can looking into the condition of the alveoli in a smokers. The alveoli sacs are very highly damaged, which when we compare to the normal it is seen. Coming to the passive smoking versus COPD. So, in recent research articles, I have found that one topic is a research article is passive smoking exposure is associated with increased risk of COPD in never smokers. So, those who never smoked in their life also having a chances of getting COPD or chronic obstructive lung diseases. The studies has been taken in the northern Sweden. They were taken around 2000 persons who are never smoked but they have COPD. So the study is revealed that COPD prevalence was associated with environmental tobacco smoking. That is non in the environmental tobacco smoking is the second-hand smoking or passive smoking. So in this study, it is found that around 8 percentage the people who are those who had COPD, they have never smoked in their life, and but they have exposed to the environmental tobacco smoking at home. And the few people who are exposed to the environmental tobacco smoking when they were working in a previous workplace or somewhere. So in this study, it has clearly explained that the in the ETS, environmental tobacco smoking is independently associated with the COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So next factor is air pollution. What is air pollution? Air pollution is the contamination of air due to presence of substances in atmosphere that are harmful to the health. there are many contaminants we have in the air, which is mainly classified into primary air pollutants and the pollutants which contaminates the air. Okay, so when we classify the pollutants, it is primary and secondary. So primary air pollutants which directly exposed to the or uh, uh, given into the air, and secondary air pollutants which is due to the chemical reactions which is produced. So you can looking into the PPT, you can see primary pollutants, especially carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxides, especially, and the secondary pollutants like ozone, HNO3, nitrates, and sulfuric acid. All these things are considered as the secondary pollutants. So I'm not going to the discussion later to the pollutants. And these are the pollutants you can see here. Fine particles, starting from the fine particles, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, different types of pesticides, even that also will, in a small fine particle, it may circulate in the air. In even the metals, heavy metals, have lead, arsenic, cadmium, different types of toxins also will present in the atmosphere, which leads to the diseases, especially COPD. So, coming to the impact of air pollution on human health. So, especially in the you can see in the PPT here, around the 7 million deaths happens every year in the world, uh, which only causes for the only cause due to the air pollution. Especially these, around out of 7, 2 million deaths occurs in the southern Asia, like especially China, India, and other southern areas of uh, Asia. And air pollution definitely it causes different types of manifestations, including the COPD. So, going to the effects of air pollution on the body, air pollution has significant risk factors for a number of pollution-related diseases, including respiratory infections, heart disease, and COPD. So, everywhere, the mainly the COPD is caused due to the low air quality. So, in different countries, the air quality index is checked. Okay, so in certain harmful impact of air pollution on severe acute exacerbations of chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, especially in the particulate matter. So the US Environmental Protection Agency, they have classified the based on the geographical area, the AQI value, air quality index, based on their economical status. Even the land also sailed by based on the air quality index, or their property status also depends on the air quality index. So it is categorized good, moderate, unhealthy, more unhealthy, and very unhealthy classifications. So once you're looking into our area, for example, the Vadodara, uh, when you Google it, the air quality index of our Vadodara, it is around 112. That is moderately polluted. So we can say our area more moderately polluted. So the person who are immunosuppressant, or those who are have a chance to get diseases, they have to wear mask always. So that is the indication which is given by the government or authority, uh, based on the, so the AQA is every day they will determine the AQA, air quality index, every day. So coming to the particulate matter versus COPD, particulate matter or particles less than 10 and 2.5 microgram. So which leads to components of the emission affecting the human health. In the recent studies, a study has been done, the cross between the exposure of environmental particulate pollution and the obstructive pulmonary diseases. So uh, these particulate matter are the very tiny objects or tiny particles in the atmosphere which causes the pollution. So any person who inhale these or exposed to the particulate matter will have, in a chronic time or in a longer exposure, it leads to the uh, different types of respiratory diseases, especially the COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. So the PM or the particulate matter again classified into two: primary particles and secondary particles. So primary particles, those are directly emitted into the atmosphere. and secondary particle, those resulting from the chemical transformation of gases pollutants. So you can see in the slide itself, you can see it's very small related to when you compare to a hair root, it is very small. And And also, air pollution is estimated to cause about 29% of lung cancer deaths and 43% of COPD deaths. So, according to the World Health Organization, documented the harmful effects of particulate pollution or PM absorbs, which in turn into lung passageways and convert into the bloodstreams. So, whenever any person who exposed to the particulate matter, it directly enters to the lungs through that it may enter to the bloodstreams and it will be deposited in the body for a longer time, and it may after a longer time or longer period it may causes the problems. And also, other than the particulate matter or smoking, heavy metals also, in the particulate matter, they may have heavy metals, a smallest components of the heavy metals, which also leads to the COPD. So heavy metals are the widespread pollutants, and their harmful effects is due to their toxicity. As we all know,
Sir, unmute yourself. So voice is not coming.
sir.
Yes, sir. Now coming.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible. Your mic is muted, sir. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, okay. So heavy metals also will cause the toxicity. So first one is arsenic. Arsenic is the most important abundant elements in the nature, which is in the inorganic form, extremely negative for the environment as well as the living creatures. So in the recent studies, a prospective study of arsenic induced respiratory symptoms and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. There's a relation between arsenic toxicity and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It is given in the study. It is that suggests an adverse effect, respiratory effects as exposure of low level. So the low level exposes to inhaled particulate matter, which causes the lung disease, especially the COPD. So that is also an etiological factor for the COPD. And also cadmium. Cadmium is the metal of the 20th century because of its widespread use in the minerals, fertilizers, plastics, batteries, and different sources. It may the humans are exposed to this cadmium. So inhalation of the and when it turns to a smaller or particulate matter, it's also inhaled by the humans, which leads to the respiratory disorders. So the cadmium also inhaled in sometimes, and it causes the COPD or the chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. And another one is lead. Lead also causes different types of pulmonary diseases. especially the peoples who are working in the factories of paints while they manufacturing, or the while they spraying into the different vehicles in a um, gas form. So they slowly they will expose to the lead in the gaseous form. So it will be deposited in the body and leads to the chronic toxicity. Lead exposure workers higher, the recent studies show that lead exposure workers have higher frequencies of respiratory symptoms in the blood and also in the urine, and also have pulmonary function test values also. So coming to the preventive aspects of this COPD, uh, the preventive aspects given in the National Health Portal, there are certain preventive methods are giving, like avoid smoking, which and also should not take the person, humans are should not expose to the second hand smoking also, which are the leading cause for the COPD, and avoid the outdoor and indoor pollution such as air pollution, chemical fumes, and etc. And avoid moving in the congested or overcrowded places such as heavy traffics, marketplaces, and chemical factories. And also suggest to wear the mask always when they are working in chemical factories, or in a if there is a chance to get an exposure to these type of chemicals. And also healthy diet and reduce the risk of respiratory infections. So these, and should not avoiding the exposure to fireworks or like crackers, fumes. So these are the prevention which has been given in the National Health Portal of India. So coming to the prevention through Ayurveda, how we can prevent all these things? As we know, uh, in the Samhitas it is mentioned that as by the Susrutaracharya, he has explained Dushita Vayu, or polluted air or poisonous air, how to prevent and what are the diagnostic methods, how to identify a polluted air. Everything is mentioned. So once you look into the Dushita Vayu Lakshana by the Susruta Acharya, he has explained different types of air, like especially uh, the characteristic features of this air, like ati chala, ati apishyanti, ati stimita, ati ruksha, ati parusha, and ati sida. So these are the different attributes of the air may cause us the air poisoning, or through the exposures to these type of poisoned air. So the slogan goes like this: "Dhume anile vishasambhipte." When a person who exposed to the poisoned air, he may have different types of symptoms like kasa, pradisyaya, shiroruja, tivra, nayanamaya, etc. has been mentioned. Even the birds which are who are flying in the atmosphere also fall down when they have exposed to the poisonous air. And what are the remedies has been explained by Acharya is, uh, first of all, to improve the air quality of the air. And also he has explained certain yoga formulations, like especially Laksha Haridradi yoga, which can be made into powder. These are the group of drugs: Laksha, Haridra, Ativisha, Abhaya, and all. These are the group of drugs formulations which can be made into powder and sprinkled over the different areas of trees, flags, drums, and tall pillars. So, what is the idea behind this Laksha Haridradi Prayoga? Which is whenever a wind comes, it will be so the this medicated formulation will be absorbs into the air, which detoxify the polluted air. So in Maharashtra, when Dr. Vishnu Joglekar, he had conducted a study related to this purification of the air. He had made a anti-pollution antidote, a yoga, which is from the Laksha Haridra yoga. So what is the study explained is, they have made it two chambers. One is filled with polluted air, another one is a normal air, and this Laksha Haridradi medication is made into gaseous form and introduced into the Dushita Vayu chamber. So when they compare with a normal and this another chamber, the study chamber, so it is proven that after the Laksha Haridradi yoga, the Dushita Vayu, or the mind particulate matter, or especially the nitrous gases concentration, are reduced. So that is a remarkable improvement in reduction of air pollutants. That is a very important study has been conducted in Department of Agriculture. Uh, Coming to the remedies, so especially when you're looking into the treatment of COPD in Ayurveda, the main aspects of this treatment is nidana varivarjana to reduce the nidanas to causative factors, and also different methodologies like modification of the lifestyle and diet, shamana, shodhana, and also we can go for the protocol or like dinacharya and follow the rudracharya and dinacharya, which will be a very good remedy for to prevent the COPD. And also in certain textbooks, nasya also very important lifestyle or the medication we can give, especially anutaila or shatbindu taila can be used every day, so which will be a protection for the exposure to different types of chemicals or pollutants. And also Ayurveda says to use the katu lavana ushna snigdha lagu aharas, which reduces the kapha dosha. And also you can add different types of ushna dravya aharas, especially kulatha, garlic, or that is lashuna, all these things in the food which reduces the kapha in the body. And also he acharyas explains to avoid certain drugs or ahara dravyas which increases the which may increases the kapha dosha, like madhura dravyas, dahi, or dadhi, whole milk also we can reduce, and also shida dravyas also we can reduce. Coming to the conclusion, the worldwide attention has increased regarding the levels of environmental pollution affecting the different aspects of the human body. Long term exposure to the environmental toxins or pollutants causes chronic diseases like COPD. So, by looking into the COPD symptoms, the main causative factor is the cigarette smoking, which cannot be controlled by others. But we can do one thing to to reduce the exposure to the environmental pollutions or the pollutants. And Ayurvedic remedies or methodologies can also like air pollution antidotes, different types of formulations we can use in and different studies also has to be done on these to reduce the ecological factors. And also as we all know, World COPD Day is also celebrated or observed. So the COPD Day is in November 16th of every year, started from the 2002, and also every year it is observed. And this time, 2020, the theme is Your Lungs for Life. That is a theme which is given by the authority. And also, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, sir. Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So there are near about 13 participants are there. So anyone want to ask anything? You are welcome. Ashukan sir. Yeah, uh, you are unmuted yourself already. Just ask.
Hello.
Yeah, sir, you are audible. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, Manu sir, it was very nice presentation,
Yes,
and you
yes,
have
yes, sir. Thank
included the Janapadodvamsa factors also. But
you. Yes, yes.
what I would like to know is there any Agada yogas which are mentioned in Agada Tantra context by Sushruta or some other contemporary persons which can be used to overcome this problem by modifying it and adopting those Agadas in our masks or for fumigation in the internal environment of our homes so that the environmental pollutants can be significantly reduced. Are there any studies conducted on that? And is it the need of our to conduct such pilot studies
Yes, yes.
in microenvironment air purification methods of Ayurveda? They might have not mentioned any personalized gadgets but they might have mentioned some agata prayogas which can be used just like they are mentioned water purifying methods. Similarly, they might
Yes.
have mentioned some air purifying methods. One of them you have told. Are there any other ready dhupana yogas told by Sushrita or by Kashyapa? Kashyapa has elaborately told about dhupana. So are there any formulations which can be practiced?
Yeah, sir, this Laksha Haridradi Yoga is very useful in this condition. Actually, one uh, study done in Maharashtra, I think, by Dr. Vishnu Jogalekar, sir. So I have observed in one book that they have taken this Laksha Haridradi Yoga and they have made into they have extracted the molecules and they have made into ionized form and they have introduced into a polluted air chamber. In that study, it is observed that when these anti-poisonous formulation is introduced into the that polluted air, so it absorbs the contaminants from the air. So that is one thing which reduces the concentration of the air pollutant in that chamber. So that was the result they have observed in that study, sir. So that can be used in our like if you want to conduct a project or something, we can take and we can make a yoga out of it. And but the models is very difficult, sir. To make the model is very difficult. So if we get a such initiative programs or projects, then we can do it, no issues. Or other yogas like Shivagradi Agada is also mentioned in the Kalpasthana, which also used for this type of air pollution. In air, when you looking into the treatment of Dushita Vayu Chikitsa, we can get there are three or four formulations that also can be used in this condition of. So once the environment is detoxified, you can minimize the minimize the chances of COPD, especially the etiological factors like ETC, like environmental tobacco smoking or environmental toxins exposure, that we can reduce it.
Yeah, I think this can be taken up as a project for preparation of aerosols, which are
Yeah,
in either attached to the ACs or as an aerosol spreading in the ACs,
yeah,
or
definitely.
in the most highly polluted areas like Delhi metropolitan
Yes,
cities, wherein we can use it on the particular places of offices or schools or something like that, so that it will have an
definitely, sir.
effect just like a
Definitely.
anti-infective or anti-insecticidal sprays we are using or
Yeah,
aerosols.
yeah.
We can
This is
use
also very
Ayurvedic drugs as an aerosol as a project work.
definitely we can take. It's a very important point, sir. We have to focus on this area because these
Yes.
never touched areas in the Ayurveda, especially
Because
and
only
not
nebulizers are
only
available for treating the condition, nebulizers, but
uh,
Ayurvedic nebulizers or lung tidal volume enhancers can be used for air pollution checking also.
yes, yes, sir.
And
Thank you.
the people who are working like traffic police, they can be subjected to analysis, so
Yes,
that
yes, yes, sir.
traffic police people are mostly suffering from
Mostly, they are
COPDs
mostly,
because of air pollution. They are the
yes.
target population of air pollution, so they
Oh,
can be
yes.
focused as a target population to study.
Yes, definitely, sir, definitely. But it should be a very proper, like, it's a big study we have to do in a high sample, like larger sample we have to do. Then only we can, at least we can get something.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir, thank you for
Yes, sir.
questions.
Very nice explanation you have.
Mm.
So my question is, which one smoking is more hazardous rather than active or passive, even occasional smoking and regular smoking? Can you
Actually,
enlighten
sir,
us?
sir, for COPD, when you talking about the COPD, 80 to 90 percentage, the direct smoking is the main etiological factor. That is sure. But uh, in I think in the US, the certain studies has been conducted where never smokers also will get there is a chances of getting COPD or chronic obstructive diseases. Uh, that is called environmental tobacco smoking. So, for example, a person is smoking in a home, the relatives or families also get there's a chance to get different diseases which may
Yeah,
cause.
this is called the passive smoking, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
But sir, my question is, a regular smoker doesn't have so much symptom than an occasional smoker. So Can you enlighten on this point?
Maybe, but may have, sir. But when based on the genetic factors or their immune system, based on all these things factors, it may change. For example, in the same thing, we can take it in the alcoholism also. A chronic alcohol person doesn't have any problem for a 40 years or 50 years, but a person who never drunk or never had any alcohol, once he first time he when he have first time he have
Correct,
some
correct.
some problems in the liver. So the same we can take here also. Maybe
Yes.
other has to be taken into the research point actually.
As per Ayurveda, it will be a oxatman. Then after,
Yeah, maybe
as
maybe
per
sir, maybe.
as per the modern, it is a cytokine release syndrome,
Yeah,
which
maybe
is
maybe.
trigger more phlegm
Yeah,
and
yeah.
alveolar damage more in occasional smoker than the regular one. Sir, one question in my mind when you are explaining about the pollutant factors, you included ozone. Why ozone is also a pollutant
The
factor?
O3 is that one secondary pollutants are actually. It's not a layer which is in the stratosphere. It is a gas, uh, a pollutant also. So it may also cause that chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. It's a pollutant actually.
Okay, okay. If you
Sir,
said
I think I would like to say about O3 is I think it is because of the free ionic present in the free
yes, sir.
radical which is
Actually,
present in the
that
O3.
I am going to explain that nascent oxygen is good for your tissue healing and many more things because when Tulsi regarding many more Tulsi study, Tulsi it's expel out O3 and when sun is at horizon, it emitted ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B, and with this ultraviolet this ozone get converted into oxygen and nascent oxygen, and
Okay.
that's why our culture and many more things that our housewives early in the morning definitely they have pradakshina to tulsi in
Yes,
the
definitely.
morning,
Correct.
and yes. So any question you can ask. So this is a wonderful session. Ex- Sir, mute yourself please. It
Okay,
create
sir.
echo. It create echo. So this is the wonderful session by Dr. Manu Prasad sir. As a being Agada Visharad, you explain all the parameters of active and passive smoking with the smoking fumes and its contents which explain by you. The etiofactor pathophysiology and its type like chronic bronchitis, emphysema and many more types. A nice explanation of permanent damage in alveoli, the tubular etiology, pathobiology and pathology regarding the regarding, and we have 4 to 5 reports, and there is good healthy volunteers which don't have a history of covid, no history of covid-19, but their fev1 was less than or nearby 80% volume, which again a questionable mark. Related problem you explain very well. One more new point which you explain that air quality index and its classification on the basis of geographical air quality index. That's why we recommended Tulsi sapling for its nascent oxygen to clarify and to settle down the pollutants. This particular matter you explain in relation with COPD and the heavy metal in particular matter in respiration with COPD, which was the prevention instructed by National Health Portal. which is a very good point. You explained very well. We are very much proud and proud feel about Dr. Vishnu Joglekar sir. He was our PG first year prelim sir. He teaches Agat Tantra in prelim of our MD first year, and his Laksha Haridradhi Yog, which you explained several times. So that is a proud moment from our mother institute related mother institute of PG, which you explained, Dr. Vishnu Joglekar. He is nearby. His department is nearby to our Rog Nidan department at Tilak Ayurved Mahavidyalaya, Pune, Rastapet, Pune. So this is the wonderful session and very informative and very talkative session. Still, we are sorry for the interruption by network issue, and I will uh, definitely apology here for the network issue. And this is all from our side. We are going to conclude our session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.